Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Such a pleasure to be here tonight. When I moved back home in 2015, I never imagined how God would use my little company, Water Access Rwanda, only a few months old then, youth-led, to be able to impact the water crisis in Rwanda. Our goal, shared with Water4, was that we can eradicate the water crisis in our lifetime. But I kind of thought that still gave me about 60 years to chip a little bit on the water crisis. But this year, I finally saw the end very close. I saw the end for one community, I saw the end for another community, and finally started to see the end of the water crisis really close for my country, Rwanda. And today, I'm pleased to come and share about how NUMA has already impacted my country, Rwanda, by giving our company and our work a multiplier effect to where our impact is being a few times more than we plan. But let me start with the short story. Towards the end of May, we were looking for the perfect community to install the first NUMA system, and we stumbled upon Mageragere. As we even drove through the community, you could see everybody is carrying jerry cans converging towards one point. And they were all heading for this one spring in the valley. There were huge lines. You may see on some of the videos a really big line. And at that line, some people would wait 3 hours, 4 hours each day. Some would get tired and get the wastewater that is still flowing down from the spring. At times there were fights, and the little kids who were waiting would sometimes be intimidated by the older people coming to fetch water. So it wasn't a good situation that we saw, and we went to talk to local government because we had a solution in hand. So the local government was like, well, we do need help. They knew that. And they asked us, are you sure your solution will work? I'm like, yes, I'm sure. It's like, where did you learn this from? Like, from Oklahoma. And they're like, when can you install it? I'm like, within a week, if you agree with us. And they're like, are you sure? I'm like, yes. So within 2 days, we had signed an agreement. They gave us an old borehole that had a hand pump and wasn't being used to its full capacity. And they gave us free land to put our first NUMA Nexus. It was quite the emotion as we started putting the building up, and people would come always waiting. All the neighbors would come and ask, can I connect my house? Are you sure this water will always be here? When will you be serving it? How many hours? They had so many questions, and it wasn't just the nearby community. The mayor of the district came to see the water. Generals in the army visited us. Journalists visited us. Everybody couldn't believe that this is coming to life in such a few days. And finally it opened, and people would line up for water. You had people coming and putting 10 jerry cans in line, apprehending the line that they knew was going to come. But over time, you would see them getting used to the slow line for water flowing all day, and lives started to change. But the joy was short-lived for me because nearby that community, another community, was struck by tragedy where a mother went to fetch water from a nearby river, which was crocodile infested, and the crocodile got her. She left 5 people motherless, and that, when I heard that story, it made me so sad because 3 years ago, our first project in Rwanda was fighting this same thing. It was fighting for people who had to go fetch water from crocodile-infested places. Fortunately, this time, we had a solution that worked, and everybody had seen this is working and this is fast. It comes in place and completely solves the water crisis for that community. So the district government actually reached out to us, and we recently signed a contract to provide 6 NUMA Nexuses for them. The first NUMA was the new model for accelerated delivery of safe water to many people. We're seeing the interest grow because now the district on the other side of the river also got in touch and wants the same thing. I want to thank you so much for being the first ones to believe in this, to believe in us. When we did the fundraiser online for the first NUMA, I kept loading the page and I couldn't believe how many people were willing to support this before they saw it happen. And because you believed in us, because of your generosity, now the whole country, communities are seeing this working, and we know that we're gonna keep on expanding and cover the whole country in just a few years. You believed in us before anyone, and today I'd really like you to see on the screen how you've impacted my life, the life of my company and the young people who work with me, and also the lives of my fellow countrymen who are being served by our NUMA networks. Thank you.
When I was really young, we would wake up really early and go fetch water. At the time as a kid, I didn't know how bad it was that I was getting water from a river. When we moved, I was 9. That's when we had running water. I don't think I ever had to fetch water after that. I could afford to spend time in my room, look for books and read them. At school, I had top grades. I was offered scholarships. I went to Oklahoma Christian University to study mechanical engineering. I think God let me see He wanted me to do something that could change lives for the better, something deeper. Rwanda, we just have so many young people who are unemployed or underemployed, working less than 5 hours a week. I wanted to do projects to provide employment that inspired them, something that gave them vision. Water Access Rwanda is a youth-led social enterprise that is solving water issues in Rwanda by providing simple, affordable, and durable water solutions. Whenever I see a kid suffering, I want them to discover the word I have discovered. I want them to have water, I want them to have employment when they grow up. Those are the things I'm fighting for. Giving water is a fight. In Rwanda, the very first fight was even being able to find water. We face very hard terrain, but it's not just having trouble finding water. I'm young, and youth in my culture is associated with inefficiency. This means that when we actually fail, we're proving people right. So moments like that, I want to give up. The best joy is going to a community that has had trouble finding water so much. And you know, every time that community has talked about water, God was preparing them for this moment. The joy is unmistakable. Water4 was instrumental in us being able to flourish. We've been able to get pumps here, training through Water4, started doing surveys, even the first kiosk. We're here implementing, but we wouldn't be able to keep growing and keep going if it wasn't for their help. I want them to know they're already part of the fight. When they make those contributions, it's literally impacting a lot of lives. From the driller who's going to go to the community that's going to receive the water point, we're changing lives everywhere. When I want to give up, when I want to go for the easy life, I remember somebody is behind us, somebody is pushing us forward, and if they're giving up some things to be able to give, we can also be generous.